programs and preservation of trees through riparian buffers or through the landscaping ordinance of your SALDO. So I think looking at the tree canopy is another benefit, and all those have water quality and stormwater benefits as well.
We had talked in our last meeting about tree planting with property owners' permission to rehabilitate some areas where there have been problems over the years. I don't know whether that's on your list there or not.
I think we have a good partner locally, the Brookfield Watershed Conservancy is certainly a good partner for riparian restoration.
I have to say, I have a lot of down trees from the storm. So that's a concern of mine. I don't know. I mean, fortunately, it's on the undeveloped area, the riparian area. You don't have to do anything. Mostly people aren't doing anything, I imagine. But what kind of trees will grow in place of the trees that left? And is there any plan for that?
So the trees we're losing, basically?
During the storm on 29th, it was hundreds of trees. Hundreds. And I'm watching if there's anybody looking at that in terms of replanting.
Yeah, no, and that would be one thing I think we would look at, and what Chuck was referring to is the assistance, this is maybe something else for the EAC, is what assistance can you give to property owners to better manage their woodlands, to make them maybe less susceptible to being felled by storms, but also then planning for that.
I can't do it alone.
Right.
From a mental point of view, I have no idea.
So
I'm not.
instruction and support,
Yeah, education, instruction, and support for your.
Yeah.
I think in the
Not
past,
just me, it's not.
Yeah.
And I'm a person who actually reads about trees and all that stuff, but, you know, all down the corridor, I'm sure a lot of children would appreciate.
one of the things we did talk about was like an expanded homeowner education program, ways that we can help homeowners understand their natural landscape and what they can do to protect it, preserve it, enhance it. So I think that's kind of one of the things that we'll wrap into this plan, some recommendation for more outreach to property owners about different topics.
That's actually one of the primary recommendations. In that Greenway study that I mentioned, that the regional planning commissions are doing, it's got two parts to it: the regional Greenway study, and then it's also a stewardship study. And the idea for that is that there's going to be lots of lands that are still privately owned and could be better managed for water quality and for natural resource benefits. How do we help those individual homeowners better manage their property? And so helping them with an inventory of their property, giving them guidance on what to do, but more importantly, and as we mentioned, Crystal mentioned with the Brookfield Watershed Conservancy, we've already met with them. They have a volunteer database of over 1,000 people. And so what we're going to be looking to do is training those volunteers in specific tasks, which might be invasive removal to make woodlands function better. Might be riparian buffer restoration projects. And so then the idea would be to build this stewardship community that if an individual property owner, again, is willing, because these are private property owners, so it's got to be from them, that they can call for volunteers to come to their property and help with those projects.
I don't think help any property would be not welcome.
I would agree with you, but there's some people, there are some people out there that are just like, don't touch my property, I don't want anything, and that's their right. So I just like to recognize that.
But I'd say on the most part, I think they would love.
I would agree.
Hi, I'd like to kind of add to what you're saying is that we wooded property on a hill, and we're starting to observe that there's stormwater runoff or salts coming off the road that are starting to affect our wooded property. So that it's sort of a huge issue when you really start to look at the tree canopy and the effects of what we use on our roads or on our lawns or various things. So well, it's similar. It's similar.
No, it is. I mean,
because we're losing trees. So I sympathize.
But if you're in a situation or when you're talking about that, we have to change everything.
Okay. All right, so I guess the other thing, just on that open space preservation side, and I think this is from just open space preservation, not necessarily preservation for recreation purposes. but it's just for the sake of preserving the woodlands or the open space. And that would be one of, I think we should be at least analyzing the benefits of some sort of fundraising scheme, whether that would be through an open space tax or whether that would be through municipal tax. That would be through more actively going after grants. So I think looking at funding is always going to be a big key to this. Is you can put it all you want in a plan about protecting, preserving, but you got to have to look at the funding too. So I think that's something that those programs that are available to us. Again, not committing us to doing it as part of the plan, but I think we need to be committed to identifying those alternatives that make the most sense. And so doing that analysis, like Kate was even saying, well, if almost in a build-out sort of sense, if these properties all developed, what would be the cost to the municipality in terms of school district tax, in terms of services, and what would it cost to actually buy them? I know for a fact New Hampshire Township has an open space fund. And they bought a number of properties. They've been very active over the last few years in buying open space and buying easements on open space just to preserve the properties for the development rights. And they are doing it for the primary reason to eliminate the costs of new development that would come with that property being developed. That they've done the math and they've bought into it. That's why that's sort of leading their preservation efforts. Now again, as Kate said, that property has to make sense for other reasons. It has to be next to a park, it has to have a prime stream on it, it has to have some good woodlands, a historic bar, or something. It has to be a good reason to buy it. But if that's there, they're willing to spend the money because of the costs that they're preventing from occurring. New Hanover Township. So I think that's something that we need to look at. I think that's a pretty good start. These goals issues, so others want to talk about?
We do have agricultural security areas in the township, and farmland preservation is another topic that has come up before. Is that something that is weighing on your minds? I think that's something that we could certainly continue with in the comprehensive plan and discuss more. Yeah. This is something that is an integral part of other strategies that we're talking about here, the transferable development rights and open space and agriculture.